Welcome back to the main stage here at the Responsive Nonprofit Summit. We're asking one big question today in this next session. What are the nonprofit marketing trends that will define 2023? Our dear friends and partners at Community Boost set to find out, and they conducted the 2023 Nonprofit Acceleration Survey, and all the findings and all the learnings are ready right now here at the Responsive Nonprofit Summit. So we have Candace Cody, Digital Events Manager, and Ernad Civic, Director of Marketing from Community Boost, here to dive into all the learnings to equip you for effective marketing throughout the rest of the year at your organization. Welcome, y'all.
Wow, thank you so much, Brian. I'm so excited to be here at the Responsive Nonprofit Summit. Ernie, what should we do to get everyone ready for this?
I don't know, but the music got me hyped up. I know everyone's out there. You got it. That was really exciting. So before we even start, should we stretch? How long has everyone been sitting, watching, ready to go? Let's stretch our hands. I think this would be a good one. Just open up, give yourselves a big hug, just hands all out, and give yourself a big hug for doing this, for being in this event, for learning so much. This has been really, really fun, and congratulations, you made it. This is like day 3. This is huge. So.
Yeah.
We're really excited to dive into this, and let's do it.
I am so excited to be here talking about accelerating impact through innovation, uncovering the top nonprofit marketing trends from the Acceleration Report. This is hot off the presses, guys. This is the latest data pulled up until March of this year. So there is nothing that is more current than all of the findings from this report. So I'm really excited to give them to you today. So we have Ernie here who will tell you a little bit more about himself.
Yeah, just a little bit, but I'm the director of marketing here at Community Boost. I've been with the company for, I'm going to say about 6 years now. It's been really exciting. I have worked with nonprofits on a one-to-one level, really focused on, scaling their fundraising and meeting their fundraising goals, to now creating our accelerator program, to directing our marketing team, and really just been super fun working with all these nonprofits and finding ways for you all to succeed. So that's what I've been doing for the past few years, and it's been super fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Ernie. And yeah, my name is Candace. I'm the digital events manager at Community Boost. So I've been working with nonprofits for about 8 years now, and really working to empower them to grow. One of the ways that I feel really blessed to be able to do this is by taking the lead on the Nonprofit Marketing Summit. So I want to know in the chat, has anyone been to the Nonprofit Marketing Summit? I just want to say hi. If so, but we are so thrilled to be able to put on this event, which impacted over 63,000 nonprofit professionals this past year. And some of you guys are here, which is great to see you. And we love being partners with Virtuous, who is always at the summit as well. So, all right, now I want to get to know you all a little bit more, and I want to know what you're feeling is your biggest challenge preventing your growth at your organization right now. So we have some options listed: budgetary constraints, limited time, staff turnover, lack of education on tech, board constraints, outdated tech, effective storytelling, or maybe something else. You can put whatever you want in the chat. I just want to get to feel the feel for what you feel is preventing your growth. I see budgetary issues, outdated tech, reduced giving due to recession and inflation. Yeah. Budget, lack of knowledge about our donors. Oh yeah.
That's a good one. Hopefully we can help there.
Over outdated tech, budget. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of the similar answers. Internal politics is always part of it. I know that can do with board constraints, but also leadership buy-in, staffing. Yeah. So all of this feels very relevant to, what's going on in the sector as a whole. And we have hopefully some tips that will help you navigate these challenges throughout our conversation today. So I'm excited to get into it. Thank you all for sharing. And so I'll go over the agenda briefly here. So we're going to give you a quick introduction to the Nonprofit Acceleration Report, why we even ran this survey to begin with, what we're really studying, and how it can impact you this year. We also are doing the too long didn't read version of this, which is standout stats, uncovering trends in the nonprofit sector as a whole. So giving you 5 quick stats to kind of keep in mind throughout our next portion, which is the top 7 innovative strategies you can use to drive growth in 2023. So we're not just giving you a report, we're giving you actionable insights as well, so that you can leave here ready to make a bigger impact this year. So we'll try to leave some time for Q&A. So keep your questions coming in throughout the conversation today, and we'll try to get to as many as possible at the end. All right, so we're kicking off with our introduction to the 2023 Nonprofit Acceleration Report. What is this all about? So Ernie, you can share a little bit about, kind of the thought process behind this.
Yeah, definitely. So, definitely want to start with, with a lot of organizations, even here in the chat, is, how do you explain when your organization is missing its growth goals? Like, what is the thought process when that's happening? How are you explain that situation? And when you're looking at your data and your numbers, like, what are you saying? Like, what are you thinking about? And better yet, how do you explain when other organizations who are facing the similar fundraising challenges are still finding a way to achieve their goals? What is the difference between it? How, and it's really an intriguing question because we're all in the same space, right? We're all facing this economic uncertainty. So how do you explain when we're not reaching a goal, but someone else is in that similar frame? The answer is really simple. It's effective innovation. Um, Effective innovation is a critical component of modern nonprofit marketing, especially in today's era of constant digital changes. You're seeing the transformations from Facebook being called Meta and the platform itself looking completely different. Google making changes, Conversions API, Google Analytics to Google Analytics 4. So many changes are happening on a daily basis, it seems. And even for me, there's times I pop into Facebook and I'm like, this looks completely different to what it looked like yesterday. But how do you stay, ahead in advance of that for that effective innovation? My answer to you, and it's also a challenge to you, is to not just be responsive to the needs as they change, but rather to anticipate the change that's coming and get ahead of it. You see, too often we are really focused on this is what we need to accomplish and this is where we think it's going to go, and we just react. And it's like, what would it be like if we were proactive versus reactive? So when you're proactive versus reactive, you're able to plan real growth. And this means daring to try new things and emerging in order to really stand out from the crowd. So when you're doing that, when you're being proactive, you're going with the tailwinds. You're kind of just coasting versus the headwinds and versus, going up against all of this pressure. And that tends to happen even in life, right? If you're reactionary, the negatives kind of just naturally happen because everything you're viewing is from just this instant, second reaction. It's not thought through sometimes. Where if we think through the problems of what they could be, what the potentials may be, it's easier for us to kind of get ahead of them, plan ahead, and really scale and give successful data and metrics that we can actually track and measure and achieve versus just throwing numbers on the wall and hoping they stick.
Yeah, I love that. I love that approach to taking a proactive look at what are the emerging trends instead of just reacting to them when it's already too late and people have already gotten ahead of you. So I think that's what it is like staying ahead of the curve by being proactive and looking at what are the trends that are coming up and how can our nonprofit implement these now so we can really stand out amongst all of our peers and as well as to our donors. So that's really why we launched the Nonprofit Acceleration Report. So we collected insights from over 1,200 nonprofit professionals to study how they're using their marketing channels today, like social media, advertising, SEO, email marketing, and so much more. But also ask them what are the channels that you're likely to leverage this year, and what are the things that you're planning to do, so we can get an idea of what are the emerging trends in the nonprofit sector, so we can give you all the insight ahead of time and leverage this to advance your mission. So that is really what the acceleration report is all about. As I said, we collected data from over 1,200 nonprofit professionals. one of the things I really, really love is just the full scope of who responded to this so that we get this really nice, well-rounded data that I think is really a good pulse on the sector as a whole. Our respondents varied from small nonprofits, 36% were under $1 million in annual revenue. 28% were between $1 million in annual revenue and $3 million in annual revenue, and $3 million to $25 million plus in annual revenue made up 36% of the respondents. So we actually had a pretty even, when you think about it, number of small, medium, and large nonprofits who were participating, so that we could also boil it down to distill insights across what's happening just even within our sector, within different size organizations. Same thing goes for, who was responding. There were a lot of founders, board members, EDs, but also those who are on the communications teams, marketing directors, development teams. So this gave us a really well-rounded insight into both those who are the decision makers, those who are usually paving the way when it comes to let's test out this new strategy, and those who are going to be implementing those strategies as well. So that's what I love about it. Just a few nonprofits who participated were United Way, Girl Scouts, MS Hope for a Cure, Pause, CASA, and Candid, giving us their insights into how they're doing marketing today and how they're planning on doing marketing tomorrow. So really big thank you to all of the participants in the survey as well. So it's been really incredible to see these insights. So I want to offer you the opportunity to actually get these insights right now. You can download your free copy of the 2023 Nonprofit Acceleration Report. Again, completely free, so that you can take this home with you and keep these learnings and emerging trends on hand so that you're able to implement them all year round. All right, so let's get into the too long didn't read version of this presentation, standout stats uncovering the top trends in the nonprofit sector.
Awesome. Well, despite political and economical volatility, nonprofits are still holding on to hope and in regards to driving growth this year. So yes, there's economical uncertainty. There's things that might be happening, but over half of our respondents, 52%, expect a significant growth this year. 38% expect to maintain their revenue at a steady level with only 3% growth, and less than 10% expect a revenue loss this year. That's really, great to have this hope, but what's a really good way to, not just have hope, but have a plan and have a strategy in place that's going to make sure you get there. And it's really amazing to see this. And for me, as a marketer on the side of things, looking at the data and the statistics, I would love to have an action plan going into this of how we're going to, keep that growth, how we're going to see that, a significant growth happen this year with the potential economic uncertainties and et cetera. So for all of you out there, this is your opportunity to see there's a lot of organizations out there thinking that's going to be great and they're going to have the best year ever. And that is 100% going to happen. I'm putting all the energy out there for that to happen. But I want to also let you know that for it to really, really happen and for you to have, control of that happening, plan a little bit more further ahead and really think about some of the outcomes that may be happening over the next, 6-7 months and how you can get ahead of those so you don't end up, losing the revenue and you end up gaining from that. The second thing that we noticed is the average percent of funds raised online grew rapidly year over year. I can personally attest to this from trying to think when I first started running I remember running ads on Facebook, and I remember seeing year over year growth from 2018 to 19 to 20 to 21. We see the growth year over year. One really cool thing, and they use this in the stock market, is, when in doubt, zoom out, right? That's what they say. And that's something you should do here. Zoom out on the political and the economical trends that were happening and how those are shaping the nonprofits fundraising space. And there's so many reports like the Acceleration Report. There's reports that pull all this data for you. And you can see year over year, there's always growth happening when it comes to the digital side of fundraising. You can see here, it has doubled in the amount reported from last year. The blue graphs are representing 2022 numbers, and the orange graphs are representing your 2023 numbers. You can see in that 21 to 40% range of annual funds raised year over year, it's starting to grow and it's starting to kind of take over the 2022 data. So think about it, but also in doubt, to think, looking at this data, just remember, when in doubt, just zoom out and see what that feels like.
Yeah. I think this is great too because it shows us that, with so many organizations raising nearly 40% of their annual revenue online, this just further confirms any investment into technologies that help you capture more donations online, as this is, a huge part. And I think there's some low hanging fruit to increase conversion rates. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But number 3.
Yeah. Number 3 was noticed is that nonprofits inventing digital. That'd be fun, right? Investing in digital advertising is up 80%. That is amazing. That's a really good number to see because you're starting to realize the importance of digital marketing. You're starting to realize the importance of just staying digital, facing the digital and being active in a digital community and digital space. And it took, a pandemic for us to realize how remarkable the online space was. And in 2023, nonprofits prioritized digital advertising with 70% spending at least $500 a month on it. This is really good and something I would highly recommend. If you're not spending about $500, I would highly recommend doing that. That's like a really good small minimum to give you an opportunity to test and to see what's possible for you. This also is a significant increase from only 38.9% of respondents reporting the same thing last year. So the graphs again are presenting your 2022 to orange being 2023, and you can see how this is changing. It's evolving, right? Nonprofits are starting to spend a little bit more now. They're getting more active and more, and they're stepping more into that digital space, which is so important because where the attention is, that's where you should be focusing on your storytelling. That's where you should be focusing on letting people know you exist. And as of right now, I'm pretty sure everyone here, we're on our phones. I mean, we're doing this session here on our laptop. Like everyone's digital. We're so connected online. It's really important to keep that in mind and to focus your strategy around that as well.
Awesome. I also, one of the other top things is that nonprofit marketers have a lot of room to grow. I think, so basically, one of the questions that we asked is, our nonprofit executes effectively on our digital marketing strategy and consistently drives online results. And we asked them, how much do you agree with this statement? So we boiled it down to really identify those who really agree that they're effectively executing their digital marketing strategies. And that was only 45.7% of nonprofits. That leaves so much room for growth, especially because only 8.9% strongly agree. So even throughout wherever you are as an organization, I would love to know what you feel. How do you feel like your nonprofit effectively executes your digital marketing strategy to consistently drive online results? Like, where do you fall? So, yeah, that is a huge opportunity for us. No matter where we are, we can always push the envelope, increase our education, increase resources behind our growth in order to continue to feel more confident in the digital strategies that you need to really push the envelope. And number 5, we asked nonprofit professionals, what do you struggle with the most when it comes to your digital marketing efforts? So we saw a big difference in this, in the responses from 2022 to 2023. Last year, 46% of responses said that limited time was their biggest challenge. Now, this graph has changed significantly, where the limited budget actually came out at number 1 at 23%. That actually stayed pretty consistent with the responses from last year, is still about 23%. Limited time fell to 23%. And all of these other problems grew. So lack of education for technology, board constraints, staff turnover, all of this arose as bigger problems bigger pieces of the pie. And I kind of see all of these things coming together as almost the perfect storm preventing growth, right? If you don't have the resources in order to invest in the right technology so you can upgrade your outdated tech and you can upgrade your educational opportunities. If you don't get the board buy-in to increase budgets for those resources, and if the current economics volatility that we're facing, more people are leaving or being laid off, there's a lot of issues that are really present in today. So I think our challenge is, how do we actually navigate through all of these challenges that are kind of all, when you boil it down, to due to limited resources. So we will be addressing how can nonprofits practically drive growth in 2023. So we're bringing you the top 10, top 7 innovative strategies you can use to drive growth this year.
Definitely. And before we step into this next step, I do want to just say, if you could put in chat, how many nonprofits feel super prepared and they're not, and super prepared, or how many nonprofits are feeling strong about their nonprofit marketing plan, about their fundraising, or whatever your goal is that you're trying to, hit this year. How confident do you feel that you're going to get there? A simple yes or no, or emojis. I saw the emojis here are really cool. They kind of light up the screen. I'm just curious how many people are feeling that they're on the right track. If you want to put that in here, cool. There it is, a bunch. That's what I'm talking about. Well, heck yeah, keep it going. I love these emojis. They're so cool. Like, can we just keep emojis going? But that's so important to know. If you feel like you're doing a really good job, that's awesome. Please continue to do that. Let's, these innovating things that we're going to talk about today, I hope they spark additional ideas for you so you can continue and double down on your plans. But if you are feeling like you don't know, that's not the best place to be. So let us help you, right? Put in the questions. I know we'll have some Q&A after this. Get some answers for, how we can get you from I don't know to, okay, I do know. And we can kind of help you there. But you definitely want to feel clear going through this 2023, because there's a lot of things that could happen, and year end comes super fast and it goes away super fast. So we want to get you prepared so you can, succeed this year. So let's dive into step 1. Stop taking less than a minimum effective marketing dose. This is by far, I think, my favorite piece when it comes to these. And the reason why is, too often, a lot of organizations that, I encounter or I talk to, we realize is they're taking the minimum effective marketing dose. And the simplest way I can do this, and I was thinking about this last night, and what's the best way to present this? I really wanted to introduce the Roger Bannister story. For those of you who may not know who Roger Bannister is, in 1954, Roger was the first person to achieve a new record by running a mile under 4 minutes. The exact time was 3 minutes and 59 seconds. Why was this a big deal, and why am I even telling you this? Because before that, scientists, doctors, athletes, everyone in between said it was humanly impossible to run a mile under 4 minutes. For those of you here today, you already know that this record has been broken time and time again, and I'm sure it's going to be broken more in the future. But the reason I'm telling you is because everyone in the running world allowed the thought of running a mile under 4 minutes to be impossible. The same applies to your organization's fundraising strategies. When you remain stagnant or risk averse, you're allowing yourself to believe that, more is just not possible. And that energy also translates into your marketing strategy. So if you're pushing for a 4+ minute mile, you're only going to be exercising and working out to hit that number. You're allowing yourself to believe that a 2x or a 3x goal from your existing goal is not going to happen. And you stick with the basics and you focus on running your best mile in 4 minute range. This will continue to be your story if you don't expand and try more tools, systems, and ideas. So, too many nonprofits are stuck in this, minimum effective marketing dose where you know what kind of works and you stick with it, and you're spending $50 on Meta, you're boosting some posts, but you need to do more to get to that sweet spot where you're truly leveraging your mission and your impact, and you're driving donations, and you're having followers, you're growing, and things are moving really well for you, you have to get to that sweet spot. And in order to get there, you have to do the things that you've never done before, right? And too often we're seeing it, and we're yet to see nonprofits really step into that space. And the talk of the town is always nonprofits feel behind. They feel behind. Well, let's fix that. Let's not be behind. What do we need to do to get you ahead, right? What do we need to do to get you ahead? And what can you do today that you feel would help kind of do that for you? So definitely want to talk through that. And as definitely one of the tips is think about making changes and don't just settle for what's being currently implemented. Number 2, sourcing innovative and passionate marketers is mission critical. This is so important to have the right people on the bus. Too often, we are lean teams, we're focusing and we're trying to do everything. We're guilty of this as well. And it happens, right? It just happens. But it's really important because during this acceleration report, something we really found is the turnover was really high, and it got higher from last year to this year. It went from a 3.9% to a 12%. Recruiting talent is no different than the top challenge most nonprofits face, which is fundraising. It's all about storytelling and development. And investing in agencies will help you to kind of alleviate that pressure when you're not able to find the right talent, or you're having a hard time finding the right people to sit on that bus. So something really to think about. And as turnover continues to happen, the economic uncertainty continues to grow. Think about this from perspective, how you're going to reach your goals. What are the best ways to get there? And what can you do to kind of, stay ahead of that curve? So during our questions, we asked a lot of our respondents, how does your organization source its digital marketing? What are you doing to kind of operate your digital marketing, your ads, and et cetera? 26% use agencies, which is a great number to see, right? Because agencies can teach you how to implement, they can teach you best practices. You can take those learnings within 3, 6 to a year long, a time, and take those learnings and apply them to your nonprofit next 2 to 3 years. Like, it's a great investment. But what's really kind of in a way here is there's 22% are using part-time staff, and there is about close to 5% of nonprofits use no marketing staff. So as we talk about this economic uncertainty, we talk about things and we talk about getting ahead of the curve, it's also going to be really hard to do that when you have part-time team members executing part-time marketing goals or execute on marketing, your efforts. Because I tell you here, I stand here with you all as a full-time marketing person, it's still not 40 hours. I have to dedicate a lot of time to figure things out. To be honest with y'all, Facebook alone is probably 40 hours. And it just takes a lot of effort and time to put this together. I think Facebook, if you're listening, 40 hours, maybe 50. But if you don't have a marketing staff, that's even scarier. So just really think about that and try to figure out a way to implement more and provide more value and opportunity for your team members so they can actually work on and execute those plans. And for the board members out there, like, listen to your team. It's also super, super important because sometimes the numbers are just thrown out there, but it takes a lot of effort and work to actually find those fundraising goals and to get them. So it's really important to, have some data insight, have the right team on the bus to actually meet those goals instead of just putting them out there. Cool. Step 3 is go deeper into the core traction channels. This one is probably the lowest hanging fruit for most of you out here. And I really hope you can take this one and run with it by end of today. But for a lot of nonprofits, there's a huge opportunity to go deeper into the core traction channels. So whatever is working for you, I'm going to guess here, email probably works extremely well for a lot of the organizations here. If that's the case, dive deep into that. Increase your frequency. Too often we see organizations sending 1 or 2 donation ask appeals, over a course of 3 to 6 month time frame. Feel free to ask more. Don't be afraid of unsubscribes. The people that are unsubscribing, they don't want to follow anyway, right? Learn how to remove that and only work with those individuals who truly care about your mission. And it's a great way for you to have a really solid list. What's the point of having a 5,000, donor list, if only 200 of them donate? So learn how to segment your audiences, learn how to break them apart of who they all are, and then personalize your messaging to all of them so you can have a good, engaging crowd. But the more important piece here is just make sure you dive deep into that. So what are your core versus emerging traction channels at your nonprofit? So your core channels are your email, your social media, SEO, Google Ad Grants, Meta ads, and etc. Your emerging channels, these are upcoming. We're seeing a lot of success in 100% here. SMS, influencer marketing, I think is one of my favorite things as well here. And LinkedIn ads and TikTok are definitely on the rise.
So, and what I love about this too is that this is different for every organization. What your core channels are when you think about what are you using today to drive marketing, and your emerging channels are the opportunities. What have you not done yet? So, a real practical way to look at this too is to effectively innovate. You want to map out what are our core channels, what are the channels that we're leveraging well today, and how can we dive deeper into those, but also map out which channels you're interested in testing throughout the year, so that you can have a plan in place. So I think like making this practical and like listing it out for yourself will give you a really good just like plan to move forward. And what channels work for your organization are probably different than what works for every organization. So we're presenting a lot of these core channels and emerging channels, but honestly, either of these could be your core or your emerging channels based on how you're marketing today. So the opportunity here is for you to really personalize this, to make it implementable.
100%. Cool. The top 7 core channels, as mentioned, how important are these to your marketing nonprofit? Really think about that. Email is the most important digital marketing channel, with 86% of nonprofits saying it's very important to them. For everyone here in chat, please write down what you feel is your core channel, is the most used channel in your organization that you feel like is working the best. And from there, we can even take into Q&A later on and give you some additional insights on what you could be doing. But please let us know, what do you feel is your core channel that you're using the most to succeed this year? All right, we can go to the next slide.
Direct mail, email, and Twitter.
Nice. Well, direct mail is huge. That's awesome. We definitely talk about that. Twitter, I love that. Email, Instagram, Becca, let's go. That's huge. You're already on it. Yeah, keep adding that in. SMS in there, that's huge. So tips for those core channels. I'm going to dive in some of the stuff that people are saying here. SMS is huge. It's just like email. People are on their phones. People are receiving texts just like they're receiving emails. It's a great way to keep utilizing that and dive deeper and look at your frequency. How often are you sending those things, and could you do more? Same thing with email. Can you send more emails? Can you segment your list more? Can you utilize it a bit more? And a lot of nonprofits, what I've noticed is that emails are long. Can you maybe shorten the emails and break them up into 2 or 3 sends a week versus just one giant email? So you can kind of create a clear, direction of where things are going. But definitely Facebook as well. It's a huge core channel. It's a great way to drive ROI for your organization.
Something that I think, I was actually surprised when we looked at these results too, that SEO came in at number 4, right under direct mail and right above Google Ad Grants. I was really excited to see that because I think, for so long, nonprofits have overlooked SEO. So this is something that, if you haven't already, 57.7% of nonprofits say it's very important, or moderately important to their organization. So I really think, if you're not already using like SEO strategies on your website, on your blog, whatever resources you're offering, definitely worth the investment this year. And yeah, leverage all the free ad spend. I mean, I think like we saw that the investment into digital advertising is up 80%. A great way to get started if you haven't already is to start using that Google Ad Grant. It's $10,000 a month in free advertising. So this is your opportunity to really test out this channel as an opportunity, or grow, right? So if you're not maximizing that $10,000 a month, what else can you do to really push the envelope and make that more effective for you?
Awesome. Let's go over to the next slide. And last piece from my end is test emerging channels faster. So remember, I talked about this earlier, but be like Mr. Bannister. Test. Don't be afraid to go after it. Your goal here is speed is greater than perfection. Too often we're focused on getting the right video, getting the right picture, getting the right thing to post. Don't do that. Just post. You'll get better as you keep doing it. The idea here is to just also continue testing the innovative marketing, things that are happening in the space. So you have SMS, you have AI, you have all these different things. Utilize all those things to help your nonprofit grow and evolve and help you reach your goals.
Yeah. It's always good just to get started testing.
Yep. Awesome. And something we asked, right? When it comes to testing, we asked the nonprofits, how does the testing feel? What are some things you tested on? And here's some of the answers that we got, right? Spent over $150 on Facebook ads and raised $16,000. Utilized the Google Ad Grant and raised $500,000. It's possible. It's out there. And you're sitting here, you're listening to this, and you're seeing these numbers. It could be you too. I know it might not be, but the thing is, you're not going to know unless you try. And it's just a really good core value to just embed into your organization, into yourself, to just always try and to just see what happens, because you're serving a really purposeful mission. You're doing something really amazing. There are people out there that care, and they're going to care about you and your organization. They're going to donate. You just need to try and get yourself out there. Awesome. And 8 top emerging channels for this, like we mentioned, meta ads. Over 76% organizations say they are very or somewhat likely to use meta. I highly recommend using meta 100% of the way. The Google Ad Grant, utilizing that 10,000 ad grant spend is huge. If you're not maximizing your spend, please, you got to do that. That's like rule number 1. Maximize the free $10,000 a month. Send people to your website. Drive that awareness. It's amazing. And another one that stands out here is the Microsoft Ads for Social Impact. 63% are very or somewhat likely to use the Microsoft Ad Grant. Why? No, 100% should do it. It's free. Take advantage of it. It's free, and do it, right? Between that and Google, you can drive a lot of traffic and a lot of donations to your organization completely for free. So please take advantage of those. Awesome. And the tips for emerging channels with LinkedIn ads, these are powerful. They're great. If you're looking to increase your corporate giving, or, drive some specific organizations to connect with bigger, larger companies, LinkedIn is a great, great opportunity for that. Microsoft ads for social impact, like I said, are amazing. If you're looking for a bit older demographic, anything in the range of, I say, like 40 and up, Microsoft is a great opportunity for you. Paid search ads, ad grants, all of that connected together works extremely well, and testing different performance campaigns and A/B testing those things will really help your organization reach new heights, because you're expanding into these new unknown spaces for yourself. YouTube ads as well. This works great. We spend so much time on YouTube, so please run some YouTube ads. Why not? This works really well. We run this for a lot of our organizations, and it works extremely well. TikTok ads. If you're looking for a younger demographic, you're trying to reach the millennial Gen Z, this is the place to be. It is huge. Has over 1 billion users. That's insane. Highly recommend utilizing TikTok. And as you can see here, 95 minutes per day a user spends. That is a long time. And of course, Google display ads. Segment your display remarketing budget based on user level engagement and how recently they engage. It's a great way to kind of retarget some of that user audience.
Yeah. And what I love about like YouTube and Google Display, it can be super affordable, especially if you're using retargeting strategies. So you're taking your lists that are already engaging with your organization, and you're just remarketing to them so that your ads are staying in front of them, staying top of mind, so that your nonprofit can really continue with them throughout their day. I think that's like a big part, where everyone's on YouTube, everyone's on Google, and seeing your nonprofit repeatedly come up across multiple channels is going to be the thing that helps your nonprofit stick out in their mind all year, so that when you do go to make an ask, it helps, really increase results. Yeah. And so number 5, nonprofits thrive with increased social media adoption, boosting growth and engagement. So we talked a little bit about advertising, right? There's so many social channels that you can be advertising on, but a really low hanging fruit is to still tap into organic social media building those audiences, making it easier for your ads to be more effective. That's what's really, really important is if you're already engaging your audience on social, it's so much easier to remarket to them so that you're able to make your ads more effective. So we see that most nonprofits are on at least 4 different social channels. Maybe this ranking is not surprising to you. Facebook in the lead, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. But I think that there's so many great opportunities for you right now to double down on your efforts across your multiple channels and maybe add a channel this year. If you're not already on TikTok, only 23.5% of nonprofits are. This is your time to shine. Get on TikTok because you're going to be able to stand out and engage younger donors. Yeah, some opportunities to enhance your social media success. What was really unfortunate is that although most nonprofits were on 4 channels, most of them were also posting less than twice a week across those different platforms. So just as simple as increasing your posting frequency is super low hanging fruit. And something that you can do is, of course, and you're probably already doing it, is repurposing content across multiple channels. I love how like Canva, you can do like instant resizing and then change it so it's appropriate for different channels. So try to increase your posting frequency and just see what that does when it comes to your social engagement. Of course, posting highly engageable content is always helpful as well. I'll go to the next slide for a minute and I'll come back to creators. But the most engaging content across any platform today is video, and especially short form videos. HubSpot's 2022 marketing industry survey showed that short form videos, meaning 30 seconds or less, are the most effective way to engage your audience on social. Another Google survey also found that 57% of people who watch a video for a nonprofit go on to make a donation. So one of the best things you can do here is start really trying to ramp up your video content. I know that's not always easy, but I do think in today's world where, in yesteryear, nonprofits benefited from having a really beautiful, high quality, story that's like 5 minutes long and makes you cry. And I love those. They're really impactful in certain circumstances. But what would it look like if you just took simple videos throughout your day showing the work that your organization does and kind of peel back that layer so people get to know your organization? I think that's really what videos are all about, is getting to know you and feel like your organization is real, run by real people, and also helping real people. So the more that you can use short form video to show that across any social channel, you're going to get great engagement and be able to retarget anyone that watches even a second of those videos through advertising later. It's really, really easy to remarket to those and get them to make that donation. So I think that's a big part of it. And leverage the opportunity to explore influencer partnerships. There are even smaller influencers. I think when we think about influencers, sometimes you think big budget, big celebrity. No, today there's so many people. Everyone has the opportunity to engage on their phone and build an audience. So there are people with audiences that you can tap into that are your target audience or a new audience you're trying to get into and test. And so there's ways that you can do this on small budgets. There's a tool called Social Current, which actually matches nonprofits to influencers. I haven't tested it out myself, but it seems like a really cool opportunity. So maybe check that out. But definitely a way to drive engagement in 2023 and beyond is to tap into influencer partnership opportunities. I know we only have a couple minutes left, so I really want to leave you with a couple of practical ideas. So, the best way for you to innovate is to adopt the technologies that make it easy for you to do so. When you are using marketing automation tools and helping you save that time, right? You're still pressed for time and you're still strapped because staff is down. What's amazing right now is that there are a lot of softwares, including Virtuous, that can help make these communications easier with donors. It can help you automatically segment those audiences for you. It can help you make social media management easier. And thinking through even using AI to increase your advertising efforts and email marketing automation so that you're not day in, day out doing so much for each of these channels, but using technology that empowers you to do that. I also think a really low hanging fruit is, with this, double basically last year of gifts being made online, effective donation is absolutely donation software is absolutely necessary. So you need to today or this week prioritize looking at your donation form on your website to see what can be enhanced here so that you're able to take more donations and increase conversion rates. Even a small increase in conversion rates can increase your donations big time. You're already using so much marketing. All of your marketing efforts are getting people to go to your donation page, right? But if your donation page is not conversion optimized, you're missing out. It's almost like you're doing all this work only to have them drop off on the donation page. So it's really, really important to invest in that software as well. Also, make your job easier. You can leverage AI and chat GPT. Can I see in the chat who is leveraging AI, who's using chat GPT in their day-to-day? Just say yes. Nice. Yeah, huge opportunity. We actually tested this for creating ad copy, and it came out really strong, right? I think you can use ChatGPT to save a lot of time when it comes to your day-to-day content generation. And last but not least, is systematize your innovation process. Um, you may really desire to be innovative at your organization, but if you don't have a plan in place to innovate effectively, it won't happen. So I really believe that appointing a team member to be in charge of looking at not just what's happening right now and at your organization and how you're marketing now, but think through how you can be marketing tomorrow is really important, because this can help you involve more executive leadership ahead of time, get the buy-in you need, and really build innovation into your everyday process so that you're not just it's not just a one-time thing that happens. You're like, oh, it's time to look at what's happening today, but rather consistently innovating so that you're able to drive success all year round. And I really do believe that the difference between missing and achieving your 2023 goals is this idea of innovating effectively. So we want to encourage you. You can go ahead and get the 2023 Nonprofit Acceleration Reports, and we'll drop the link in the chat. But we would really love to chat with you about how your organization can look ahead at 2023 and innovate effectively. You can book a digital marketing game planning session with us, and we'd sit down with you and explore your biggest opportunities for growth this year.
Woo!
All right. Wonderful. Download the 2023 Acceleration Report now. And if you want more from Candace, Ernie, and the Community Boost team, they are in the booth section in AirMeet. So head on over to the Community Boost booth. Make sure you get signed up for the Nonprofit Marketing Summit happening later this year. Download the report and ask them how they can help. Y'all, thank you so much for all the insights, all the wisdom. Thank you for making the Responsive Nonprofit Summit free and accessible to all nonprofits. We're going to take a quick 6-minute break, grab some coffee, use the restroom, do what you got to do. We are going to be coming back to the main stage in about 6 minutes on how to know when your donors are ready for their next financial ask with Stuart Entwistle at Donor Search. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you back here in a few minutes.